Happy Wednesday. It is Women's History Month full-time kickoff. Woo! Are you ready for some cocktails and conversation?
Yes, very ready.
All right, let's get it popping.
Are you ready for cocktails and conversations? Are you ready for cocktails and conversations? Are you ready for cocktails and conversations? With your host, the unapologetic diva, Dr. G, the girlfriend therapist, Dr. Cortina Lewis, the Blue Phoenix Heels, Louisa Harrell, and the networking extraordinaire, Diana Richardson Philippus.
Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? This is Herspiration Happy Hour. Happy Hour. Happy Hour.
Woo! Happy Wednesday. What's up, girl?
Nothing much.
All right, it is Wednesday. It is Women's History Month. I mean, I'm telling y'all, this is going to be such a great episode for so many reasons. Plus, we are women, and I feel like we have definitely made our marks when it comes to women's history. So, this is, well, I guess I'll say this is your unapologetic diva, Dr. G.
This is Dr. Lewis, aka the girlfriend therapist.
Oh, we can't hear you, Diana.
Oh, I can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Okay, Diana Richardson Philippus, y'all. Do you want to try logging out and coming back in? Welcome to technology, people. Okay.
That's what happens when we're live.
I know that this is live in real life here. So what are we sipping on today?
So we are sipping on a Glambitious sparkling rosé lemonade. So basically what you do is you get you a nice cute glass such as this one right here. You line the rim with sparkling pink crystals. You pour in some lemonade, top it with rosé, and you can also add a lemon for garnish. And if we're talking about the mocktail, you're just going to pour you some sparkling soda with some lemonade and garnish with the lemon. And then there you have it. The Glambitious sparkling rosé lemonade.
Okay. That actually sounds good. That might be something I would drink, minus some of the sweet out of it, but it's definitely, it's cute.
You're not the sweet kind of person.
I know. As Jay always says, I like my wine bitter like my soul. I'm like, damn, that's kind of I know. Diana, do you have a crown on? What's going on over there?
No, I don't have on a crown. I have on a headband.
Oh, it looks like a crown from here.
Does it? No, it's not a crown.
Girl, see, I thought you came repping. I'm like, oh, she done broke out with Women's History Month with a crown on.
Well, I mean, I am a princess. I mean, I am, but I'm not wearing my tiara today. I'll bring it next week.
Okay. What's your week been like? So, Cortina, I need you to share because you've just had a hell of a week. Diana, you missed some of the back talk, so you got to share what the hell happened to you coming back from Vegas.
So our listeners might not know, but our viewers can definitely see that I am podcasting from my bed because my ankles are swollen and I have to keep them elevated. I just got off from work. I was in Vegas last week. As you know, I podcasted from Vegas and we were supposed to get back on Sunday. However, we got back on Monday thinking I was coming back on Sunday. I had a full day of clients to see on Monday. So when I came back from being delayed, I had to see patients. I had to work. Mind you, this flight was the worst flight I've ever been on in my entire life.
Oh, no.
So two rows ahead of me, there was someone, I don't know what was going on with their stomach. Thank God for me, he was on my same side, but the 3 rows, the row that was across from me and the 2 that was in front of the row I was in front of, he threw up on all those rows. Throw up got in the little girl hair, the black lady in her face, like he turned and threw up. He didn't even try and catch or anything. It's so bad. Oh my, I was like, what in the hell did he eat? It was absolutely disgusting. And we still had like 3 hours left in the flight.
So That's
was
disgusting. He didn't have a bag.
It was on her leg. It was on her butt. The little girl mama was taking antibacterial wipes and wiping it out of her daughter's hair. So mind you, you got the people by the window that was sitting adjacent from him by the window. They didn't get it that bad, but the lady right next to him got it the worst. Like they had to take off her jacket and triple bag it, put it at the top. The flight was full, so you could not rearrange your seat, and then the dad kind of had like this attitude with the flight attendants, like, can y'all move? I got to get to my son. He was choking.
Oh, it was a little boy that was throwing up.
He was 16. He looked like a damn man. I don't know that they done something or whatever. Daddy was sweating like he had just taken something. I don't know what he was on, but he had his shirt was off and like he had on like a t-shirt. It was just,
maybe they had like a little virus.
I don't know if it was a stank virus because it was absolutely disgusting. Like you saw everybody like covering their nose. That's how bad it stunk.
I'm surprised they didn't do like an emergency landing, because that's when you start doing that, that's kind of cross-contaminating with
I don't know what was going on, but ain't no way. And so they had like the kitty litter to pour on the or whatever it was. It was some type of powdery substance to put on the floor to help with the throw up or what have you. That was the worst flight of my life. I had never.
Well, he only threw up once, or was it multiple times?
Well, he stayed in the bathroom for like an hour and a half. So I don't know. He peed on himself. It was a whole hot mess.
Oh my God.
I can speculate what it was, but I won't for the sake, because this might come back to me. But
I'm gonna speculate that it's either food poisoning or drink or alcohol.
That's what I was thinking.
You think he was drinking?
I do. Or had something. I don't know what was wrong with him, but
food poisoning can hit you in the worst way. But
I don't know what was going on. But
I mean, not to pee. I've been food poisoned twice, and I've never peed on myself.
Thank you, God, so much. It wasn't me.
Poor thing, though. Peter wasn't. I mean, he ain't. Never mind. Let me be quiet. So
I felt so horrible for the lady, and she was a black lady too. Oh Lord!
So I'm surprised that it didn't cause a trickling throw up effect on that plane, because my gag reflexes is real low. That would have been horrible. It'd have been throw up everywhere.
Oh, I definitely would have. Because I mean, you saw other people like the smell alone would have made you throw up.
I would have threw up.
I saw food particles when she got up.
That's when we stopped.
It was so nasty. It was disgusting. But yeah, so that was my week. So I had a full day Monday, a full day Tuesday. Today I had a full day back to back from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Back to back patients, no break, no in between. I had to tell my patient, before we start, I got to go make a run to the restroom. I had to use the restroom and get started. It took me an hour and 15 minutes to get home today. Sucked because of traffic. And then I came home and got right in this position so I can make sure I was prepared and ready for podcasting. And then after podcasting, I'm going to be doing notes for the rest of the night.
Wow.
Well, I've been doing emails. I've been trying to get through emails. Today was just a long day. So first of all, Monday was the most unusual day that I've had in a very long time. I actually had to get up, get dressed for work because I had meetings outside the house. So after a 3-hour meeting, I then had I had to pick up some polls that was in DC. And then I met up with Nico to do a business meeting, a lunch meeting with him. Then by the time I got home, it's like 5:30. I was like, okay, it's just been a long day. And so then I was trying to check emails, and I'm still in the process of checking emails. Diane, I did get my email.
Oh, good. Good.
I have to read through it, but I did get it. I'm still working my way through all my emails from yesterday, because then I came in and on Monday and I had a project that was open that was due by Tuesday. So yeah, so I worked until like after 10 p.m. It's one of those days. Yeah. How's the conference coming along? I'm so excited because not only is this Women's History Month, and I know I keep saying that, but I'm excited because Diana, you have something that celebrates women coming up on the 18th.
Yes, it is the Women in Business Networking Conference, and it is coming along great. We are now officially 17 days away. Today was an interesting day. Your girl is tired. I've had a migraine all day, so pardon me for being late. I've literally been in the bed from like 11 a.m. trying to hit the head wrap and the dry lips today, baby, because I ain't got my stuff, but it is coming along great. We are moving ahead. I'm very excited, even though my dry demeanor today may not fully represent that because my head hurts, but I really am. I'm super excited. Cortina, you got an email too. I really need for you guys to read that and digest that so that
Did I need to respond?
I don't recall you responding.
No, was I supposed to respond?
No. Oh, no. You don't have to respond. You don't have to respond.
Sometimes, you know what? Because sometimes you'd be like, but you didn't respond.
Did, but 3 people have responded, but not necessarily. Just as long as you have it,
Well, you don't like when I say noted.
I don't. I don't like noted.
I'll respond back.
I like received. And thank you.
Well, because it has instructions of what I need to do, and I'm like, noted.
Oh, hush. But yeah.
I literally have to note things. Oh, I noted.
She said noted.
And now I'm gonna put received and noted.
Oh God.
Duly
you know what?
I said duly noted.
No, we're not gonna do no duly now, because I know when I hit somebody with a duly noted, baby, you may as well be doing this in it. Duly noted. Okay, don't email me again. But anyway.
So I haven't seen it, but I did want to tell you, I called the hotel and they told me I could not get a corner room.
This is offline.
I just wanted to let you know I did call.
They said that you couldn't?
They said I couldn't.
I'm a sip.
They said, "Oh no, we can't do that." I said, "Oh, okay then."
You can't. What they can't do? What they say?
I can't get a corner room.
Hold on.
So I just want to let you know I did call.
Look at here.
And I did.
Don't say that.
I have to say this though, because this is what I love about this podcast. We just keep it so 100. But this is what real entrepreneurship look like. Tired, not feeling well, ankle swollen. And here we still show up because we're committed to our own level of excellence. And I think that is so important. We got a conference coming up, and it's like, no matter how you feel during the day, I'm like, I'm still going to have to go ingest this email. I just accepted another, I'll be presenting some awards at the end of the month also. So I just tacked that onto my plate. I'm just like, I'm literally like all over the place. But this is what real life looks like. Which is why I'm also glad, because our guest also is here, and I love everything that she's doing, which is why I labeled the podcast Glambitously Visible, because it's not an easy feat. It's by no means an easy feat to be visible as Black women in certain areas that we weren't at one point in time. And now we're full-fledged in these areas. But I will say, when it comes to media, which is why I like what she's doing, we are still not where we could be.
Right.
So our guest tonight, before I bring her up, I'll read a little bit about her. Her name is Lillie Williams, also known as Lillie Mae. She is an award-winning PR strategist and creator of the Glambitious brand. Now, y'all, if y'all haven't heard of Glambitious, everything is wrong with you. I remember early on in my media, when I was just getting started with my media presence, I was actually featured in Glambitious magazine. And that was my very much introduction to who and what it is that she does. I believe I was also on a podcast. So she's doing some really amazing things with her brand. So she's dedicated her efforts to empowering, recognizing, and supporting entrepreneurs in all facets, and for over 10 years and all over the country. As a matter of fact, she's actually worldwide. She grew up in a very undeserved community. And so this drove her desire to reverse poverty, gun violence, and drug use in the neighborhood, and compelled her to be the first college graduate in her family. And she graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And she has since built an internationally recognized Glambitious platform to encourage entrepreneurs as a tool to break generational deficits and accelerate financial freedom, which is what we all want. So I'm gonna bring her up here and really let her give the rest of who she is, because y'all, it's a laundry list. Hello, Lillie. What's going on?
Hey, Dr. G, how are you? Hi, ladies.
Hi, how are you?
So for our viewers, and then for our people who are going to tune in later on, and for the playback, introduce yourself and let everybody know all these wonderful things that you are doing.
Yeah, so I'm Lillie Mae, and I have been helping entrepreneurs get more visibility by confirming them for media interviews, speaking opportunities, and coaching them with their visibility so that they too can independently and creatively get more visibility for their businesses, because oftentimes that is the disconnect. When an entrepreneur isn't reaching their revenue goals, it's likely that their visibility is a little challenged, or they need to be seen and heard more. So that's who I am and what I do in a nutshell. Short story.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit about, because you was already doing a lot. What made you decide that you wanted to become an author on top of all the other things that you were doing?
That's a great question. I've always been a writer my entire life. I love writing. And so there were so many different things I learned along the way in my entrepreneurial journey that it only made sense for me to start documenting some of these things and creating books that actually share how to get visibility, how to get paid speaking engagements, how to make your first, 5-figure month. And so I just really documented my journey so that other people could have the shortcuts.
Okay. And you know what? So now I have to say, as somebody who comes from the media world too, there are so many things that I'm sure that you can offer. One, and before we even get to that, because now it's something that just popped in my head, because you are a Black woman that's making lots of transformations for other Black women. I mean, I'm sure Black and white women, but because this is Women's History Month, and in media specifically, you know how hard it is for Black media. What has your experience been like on that side, trying to create media for Black women to get their presence known out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And for me, I've been really good at building relationships. And so that has made it a bit easier for me to get my clients placements with platforms like Black Enterprise, BET Networks, Huffington Post, USA Today. So for me, I don't feel like it's been as big of a challenge for me, because I'm great at building relationships and nurturing relationships. And essentially, when people do, work with a publicist, it's for that. It's for our relationships with those outlets. And so to your earlier point, though, we can always have more of a presence in the media. I think there's always more room for us to be more visible, be more present, and, become available to those opportunities. So I try to do a lot of education as well with my work, so that people know how to get some of their own media opportunities when they can't necessarily afford a publicist. There are platforms that you can subscribe to and pitch yourself to Forbes and pitch yourself to Yahoo and things like that. So there's definitely more space for us to become more visible. And so I always look forward to helping entrepreneurs kind of bridge the gap and get into the media.
Okay. So I know you've been doing this for over 10 years. What has been the biggest shift for you that you had to make in order to continue to excel?
Great question. I would say social media. Social media, when I started, 15 years ago, wow, Lord, that's a long time. When I started 15 years ago, social media wasn't necessarily a part of our strategy with marketing clients or even marketing our own businesses. Facebook was still kind of new 15 years ago. And so
Mhm.
that was the biggest pivot for me, learning how to leverage social media and pushing past the resistance with social media. Because, I don't really like going live. But I teach and coach my clients, they need to go live, and I have to push past that resistance. And then we know there's always algorithm shifts and changes and things of that sort. So social media has kind of been the biggest, I guess, new factor in public relations that wasn't there when I started 15 years ago.
Do you feel like it has, because technology has changed and social media outreach has changed, do you feel like it allows your clients to become more accessible on their own?
It does. It does. And so I always encourage people to think outside the box when it comes to leveraging social media. It's not just about posting. It's about using it to collaborate with other people, host your own Instagram lives with other people in your industry. I reach out to a lot of people via Instagram and make connections with media outlets that way. So you can use it to network, you can use it to collaborate, and then use it as, almost like your TV station for your business. Create and curate content that's engaging, video content. Don't just post flyers, but start to look at social media as like your TV station. Use it to connect with people, use it to create innovative content and collaborate.
I have never heard it put that way. And Diana and I talk about this all the time, even, away from the platform. We literally hate social media, having to put together posts. And we always talk about like the challenges of finding time to be able to do so, especially when you're constantly busy. So for women like Cortina, Diana, and I, who are constantly running and busy and busy and busy, and other women who are out here just as busy, what do you say to all of us to say, okay, this is how you can fit time in to create social media TV for yourself?
Yes, I would say to schedule a content day. Maybe if your schedule permits once a week, you can schedule a content day once a week where you record the content that you're going to share. And now Instagram has an advanced setting that lets you schedule your post straight through Instagram. I don't know if y'all knew that, but
I did.
I did not know that.
yes.
Okay.
It's under advanced setting, and then you can schedule your post. So you can make Sunday your content day where you record what you're going to share and schedule it out throughout the week, or schedule it out for the next 2 weeks so that it's off your schedule, is off your, workload, and it doesn't feel overwhelming like you have to be on social media every day. And then as it relates to going live, you can schedule just a regular live so that people know on Mondays at noon, I can catch Dr. G. It doesn't have to be everyday thing, just as long as you have a time and a date once a week at least where people can expect you hop on live, you share value, you answer questions. That's a way to kind of compartmentalize social media in a way that doesn't overwhelm you.
I like that.
I still feel overwhelmed. I still feel overwhelmed. I'm like, I literally just finding time. And I think for me, because I'm a full-time writer and I get in a zone. And so when I'm when I disconnect from work, I'm like, I don't want to do anything else. But I know that I'm going to have to do that. And I've gotten better. I haven't posted in a couple of days really, but I've gotten better. I at least try to post into my stories to share relevant things that mean a lot to me, even if I don't have an opportunity to post. So now I'm going to hit you with the double whammy, because this is from my own experience. And I think it will be great. Yes, I'm telling you. And she's going to understand this. So PR is such a very unique because there's so many levels of things that PRs can do, sometimes do, but essentially, can you explain to those who are watching what the responsibility or roles of a PR or publicist is?
Sure. So for those of you watching, public relations essentially means managing your image in the public, right? So that's what the industry is about. It's about managing your image in the public. And like you said, there's so many different ways that publicists operate. So every publicist doesn't operate the same. It depends.
Mhm.
Some publicists simply get you on red carpet events for exposure that way. They usher you into VIP events, front row seats, and they position you as a recognized person in that realm, in the entertainment industry, so to speak. Then there are other publicists who navigate online media campaigns. So they're managing your image online specifically by confirming you for online interviews, podcasts, and things of that sort. And then you have publicists that do it all. So they can also escort you into the red carpet scene. They can also pitch you for TV and radio interviews, pitch you for online opportunities. Some even actually confirm you for speaking engagements and things like that. That is something I've done for clients as well, when it, makes sense for what that client is trying to achieve. And so ultimately our goal is to enhance your visibility in one way or the other. And so that's usually the realm. And now some publicists even incorporate some social media strategy as well, since that is a part of visibility for our clients these days. So that's kind of the circle of it. And, every publicist is different as far as what part of that they handle.
Yeah.
So what bucket do you fall in with your services? Do you do it all? Do you do certain things? I mean, asking for a friend,
No, great question. When I started, I did it all. So I had everyone on the red carpets. I was pitching them for TV, radio. I was doing it all. Now I focus online. So most of my clients that come to me, they're trying to build their online visibility to increase their Google search ranking and things of that nature, so that when people see their name, they see these prominent opportunities. So I primarily focus online media opportunities for my clients.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up going into this particular field? Was it something when you were younger, you've always liked to usher people into visibility and exposure? Or was it more so as I got older, I realized this was something I was really good at and I could make money by doing it?
Great question. So when I was at UNC Chapel Hill, I was 21 years old. I got an internship at Universal Motown Records in New York City. So I moved to New York for a summer and worked in their public relations department. And in doing that, I got to, get escorted with the celebrities to different places. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do. Okay. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, but back in the day, there was a DJ, very popular DJ, Manny Fresh. And I know I'm dating myself, right?
I know who DJ Manny Fresh is. Yes, child. Yes.
I remember a publicist had to escort him to Sony Records, and she said, "Come on, Lillie, you can ride with me." And so I rode with them in a car service to Sony Records, and on the way he was like, "It's kind of cold. Let's stop by Old Navy and get a coat." And I'm in the car like, "Oh my God!" But I have to play cool. I'm 21 years old. It's the era of Juvenile and all of those things, and I had to play cool. We go into Old Navy. People are going crazy. He's just shopping for a jacket, and I was like, "This is the life. I am going into public relations."
Nice.
Awesome.
I love it.
Who would you say is out of all the people you've been able to connect with, which one, and I know you always have to keep it cool, but in the inside where you like, oh my God, I'm standing next to, I don't know, Beyonce or somebody?
There have been a lot of those moments. Lillie Williams, I actually did an interview with Lillie Williams and my nerves were shot, but I played it cool. Back then at 21, seeing Juvenile come in the office, that was a big deal. There's been a lot, Russell Simmons, Neo. There have been a lot of celebrities that excited me, but I always have a cool outside, and then on the inside, I'm like, oh, Michael B. Jordan. Now the interview about to go somewhere else, y'all. We got
listen to me, okay? Listen, we're not gonna do that. The Mister out there, don't listen, babe. Don't listen. Yes.
And that has to be pretty current then, for it to be him. Like, I would say this right now, who have you not met that you would love to meet?
Oh, I would love to meet Oprah Winfrey. I would love
Me too. Ooh.
That is my dream, to meet Oprah Winfrey. And ironically, short, quick story, the church that I was a member of as a child, Maya Angelou was also a member of. And the one Sunday, and she would bring celebrities to the church randomly, and we would not know when it was going to happen. One Sunday, she brought Janet Jackson. So I have a picture with Janet Jackson at 13 years old. My face is like, in the picture because I'm going to they took it. The one Sunday that she brought Oprah Winfrey, we didn't go to church that day. And so, to this day, that is like the dream person that I would love to sit down and have a conversation with, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm going to transition into your Glambitious brand because it is widespread. There's a magazine, and there's I think there's a podcast as well. And so what is the Glambitious brand, and what sparked that? Because I mean, you're already doing PR, and now you have a magazine, you have a podcast, you have other things connected to this brand. What was the start of all of those things for you?
Sure. So one of my PR clients in Atlanta, a celebrity chef, Rob Gale, years ago, I was working with him, and he had a new lounge that he wanted me to kind of generate publicity around. And so I started hosting women's events where I would just invite women in Atlanta to come have discussions and things like that. And this was before women empowerment was a thing. Like now it's a big deal. Everyone has a platform. But, 10 years ago, not so much. And that's what kind of started the Glambitious brand. Is I realized, like, wow, this is a great idea to bring women together, to share ideas, to network and things like that. And it's since evolved to be more of a platform for women who desire visibility, but may not be able to hire a publicist and pay $3,000 to $5,000 a month. But they do want an interview opportunity on a podcast. They do want to be on a magazine cover. I remember one time, one of my friends had a very popular magazine, and I was like, I would love to be on your cover. And he was like, sure, it will be $4,000. And I was like, what? And this was like 10 years ago. Even now, I'm like, what? So he told me, it would be $4,000. And I'm like, okay, respect. But then it inspired me to create a platform that people could actually afford to be on, to get exposure for their businesses. So Glambitious, offer those opportunities to women to get some visibility without necessarily breaking the bank.
I love that. I love it. And then you move to the podcast. So then what magazine to podcast, what is it just saying, okay, this is going to be one outlet for them, and then this is a second one. And then do you have outside of the magazine and the podcast, are there other things connected to the Glambitious brand itself?
Absolutely. Events were a really big part of the brand. Like I've hosted Glambitious events for Essence Festival for like 3 years. I think we did 3 years there. New York, Philly, DC, Miami, Charlotte. So I've hosted events all over the country, and we're bringing them back to Atlanta in August. So live events is a really big part of the brand because I like to give them the opportunity to speak, to be on panels, to command the stage, to vend and things like that. And we also do a lot of virtual events as well in my Facebook group. So that's another part of the brand, is like live event experiences.
So in your event experiences for people, so you're with the panelists and things of that nature, are you giving the people or entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs the ability to come on your platform and to speak? And so how does that work with that? Or how are you vetting them? Or is it just that they just apply or pay and come on and then they're able to speak?
Great question. So it's a combination where you do apply, but there is an investment involved. So you definitely have to submit an application, and then we vet you. And then if I feel like you're a great addition to the platform and it makes sense, then there is an investment to be, at one of the live events or at the Atlanta event. So yes, my platform is all about just being a platform for people to speak, for people to engage, for people to find clients, get visibility, and really accelerate themselves in business, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
I love that. No, go ahead, Cortina.
I was going to say, what's kind of like your 5-year plan? So you have everything that you have, and I don't know where you on when we said our Glambitious drink for today. That's we highlighted your brand, and we made a Glambitious
Thank
drink
you.
for this evening. But where do you kind of see it going? Are you going to be adding any additional services? Do you have your focus kind of strategically aligned in a different direction? What else do you have that is like, it's not yet, but this is what I'm working on? If you could share it with us. I don't know.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, great question. I'm like, I haven't mentioned this in public yet, but great question.
They put you on the spot, girl. Listen.
No,
Mm.
as I mentioned that Oprah was one of the top people I want to meet. I admire Oprah because she was able to create her own network. She was able to, create her own like production wheel.
Mhm.
And so that is the direction that I would like to take the Glambitious brand into, having its own channel and its own production wheelhouse, evolving into a clothing line, an
Yeah.
empowerment line for young children that, young girls can embrace their beauty and their intelligence. You don't have to have one or the other. I want to have a nonprofit. So, there's a lot of things that I want to expand the brand into. And I'm very much looking forward, to what's to come for sure.
And it's Glambitious. I mean, I hear you saying it, and there's so many wonderful things about the brand. And so, as it relates to women's empowerment, is that one of the key focuses of Glambitious, of the Glambitious brand?
Yeah. I am a woman that loves being a woman. Okay. So I
Come
love
on.
being cute. I love shopping. I love braids. I love an afro. I love a weave hanging down, all
Come
things
on.
that are, women and feminine. That's me. And then I am also highly intelligent. And from the time I was a child, people always called me a genius. Right. And so I feel
Mhm.
like oftentimes people try to put us into one category or the other. Like you can either be highly intelligent or a vixen, or you can be highly attractive or, book smart. And it's like, no, you can be all those things. And so my
That's
brain
right.
celebrate all of those things. Like you can
Mhm.
embrace every facet of your womanhood and not just be pegged into a corner because society says you can be either or.
So, how much do you attribute your background, like your childhood background, growing up in a marginalized community, attributing to what you're trying to grow to and what you're trying to put out into this world for other people? How does that, or does that play a big factor in how you make moves professionally?
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I think about the young me that was like, a little girl in the hood, and it was like boys in the hood, like shootout hood.
Come on.
Okay. And I think about the young me, I didn't have an adult version of me to connect with at all. So
Mhm.
I, as a kid, never seen a person like me that, made it out, that looks polished, that knows how to speak well, but is also down to earth, that loves glamour, that is a real person, that's been on television. I would have loved to have a person like me that I could touch and feel and see as a real
Mhm.
person. And so I think when everything that I create, it's like I'm always thinking about that little girl. Like what would be good for her to see? What, you know what I mean? And I know that the women that are drawn to me, there, a lot of them were that little girl as well. And so, yeah, it definitely is a big driving force for what I'm doing, because we came from nothing. And so I'm always trying to help people build wealth, because it just reminds me that there's always a gap when it comes to women of color. We are very marginalized, and there's a gap, and there's always a gap. So we have so much work to do to close that gap. So yeah, it's very much an inspiration, my childhood, for sure.
Okay.
Mhm. How often do you reach back, like into your old communities, or communities where you grew up in?
Very, very often. The girls club, when I was a kid, we went to the girls club. And so the girls club is one of the organizations that I've partnered with a lot. Like we've done, giveaways where we give the girls things. There was several nonprofits in Atlanta that I would partner with, so that the women who are in like the single women homes, that they don't have a home, but they're in like it's not a shelter, but it's like a home for women who are unhoused. We would have things for them where they would come to Chef Rob's restaurant and be able to have Thanksgiving dinner for free. So I'm always trying to support, nonprofit efforts specifically for women, single women with children that are either unhomed or unhoused, or, at certain financial deficits. So I'm always looking for opportunities to give back, for sure.
I love that.
When it comes to you deciding who you represent with your PR firm, would you say you're very selective? Because sometimes starting out, people, they'll just take anybody because I'm just trying to get my name out there. And then as you grow, it's kind of like, that's not really connecting with our brand. That's not a brand we want to represent. How do you decide what works for you and what you feel comfortable with promoting and putting out there?
Oh, that's a great question. And to your point, all money is not good money. And so as a person of faith and as a person who's been an entrepreneur for over 10 years, if a person doesn't resonate with my spirit, that's enough for me. Like,
come on, that's what I'm talking about. That part right there.
Right.
All you need is that little feeling like, you know what? Sorry, no, we can't work out,
If they don't resonate with my spirit or their brand is in contrast to my faith beliefs, I can't. I can't work with certain, music artists that are talking crazy. I just can't do it. Or I can't work with brands that may incorporate a lot of profanity. And hey, we're all adults. You can talk how you want to talk, but it doesn't resonate with my spirit and my faith. So at this point, most of the brands or people I represent, they are faith-based and they're entrepreneurial women, that have a brand that I can be comfortable with, that, I can push forward and it not compromise like my own belief system, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I know Glambitious, sometimes by title, it could really mean women, for women and about women. Do you represent men at all?
Yeah, I have in the past. I've had some male clients on the PR end. My PR agency is Lillie Mae Public Relations Agency. So that agency is separate from Glambitious. So yeah, I've definitely had male clients come through the agency side for sure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because you have so much, you have like literally a conglomerate going on that it's hard. So because you have so much going on, and we are really big here. I mean, of course, you see the girlfriend therapist over here who's a therapist. What do you do for self-care? How do you take care of you with all of the things that you have going on?
There are several ways. Do not disturb is a blessing. I put that on the phone. Self-care 101. Do not disturb. I am a single woman without children. So I have a bit more freedom with how my day goes, when I wake up, when I go to sleep. And so I think that probably affords me a little bit more flexibility, with determining my self-care regimen. So pedicures, manicures, I do daily devotionals. I actually lead faith rooms on Wednesday. I lead 2 different faith rooms. So my faith is a big part of my self-care. Of course, prayer, silence, sitting in stillness, meditation, massages, yoga. Like I do all the things. And I'm always open to try new things. They have this thing now where you get in a pod and you're like floating in water in silence. So that's something I'm always trying things.
That sounds lovely.
Right? And so
I'd worry about going to sleep.
Yeah, I think the water is at a place to where it wouldn't come over you. So you can technically probably fall asleep in the pod. It's just like water halfway level, but something about it is supposed to be, soothing to the spirit.
It's relaxing.
And I'm gonna have to try that out now. I'm gonna have to try that out. You all know I experiment. I be turning Cortina onto different things because I turned her onto IV hydrations just to get, your IV stuff. And it's Women's History Month. Shout out Keisha Brown out in Atlanta. So she has her own IV hydration company, Black owned. And so whenever I'm going through Atlanta, I'll text her, hey, do you have an appointment? And she'll come to you, she'll come to the hotel. I like going to her little clinic area that I could just relax. I feel like, and then again, I guess I could relax in my room if she came, but then, no. No, because I feel like that would be, to me, that's not relaxing. I just want to be able to go and recline in a chair and all of that other stuff. So I like experimenting. So now I got to find this little floating chamber and go float for therapy. So I know we're coming down on time. So I would like for you to share, what do you have going on? Do you have anything coming up to celebrate Women's History Month? Do you have anything in the coming months that you would also like to highlight and get people to know about and get them involved in?
Yes, absolutely. So on March 27th, I'm having a virtual event to celebrate Women's History Month. So any women that are interested in being speakers, just head over to my website, theglamceo.com, and you can secure a speaker slot for that. We have a really cute pink and white and black little flyer that you get to be on and share it, and come in the group and speak for 15 minutes to promote your business and share some value. I also have an Atlanta event coming up on August 26th. That'll be in person in Atlanta. We're expecting over 100 women. We'll be talking about entrepreneurship, mental health, beauty, self-care, relationships, all the things. And so if you're interested in, being a speaker in person, a panelist, a vendor, a sponsor, those details are on my site as well. And then, of course, with visibility, if you need support with that, there are many ways that I can work with you. I work with different budgets. I work with all levels of entrepreneurs. So whether you started last week or you've been doing this for 20 years, I have different, packages that I can offer you to help you get more visibility, more media, more speaking opportunities, etc. And it's all on my website, theglamceo.com.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And so before I let you go, I'm just going to ask this question. As somebody who's been heavy in the media, I got burned out. Like, how do you prevent from burnout from media opportunities? Because everybody wants them, but when it's a lot and it's coming at you and you're having to be consistently responsive and all that, it's all great, but there's that burnout. So how do you eliminate media burnout when you yourself are like the client getting media?
That is a great question. I think doing seasonal media campaigns is a great idea. It doesn't have to be something that is ongoing for an entire year, because it does require engagement. It does require follow-up and attention. And when you're in your business, it's hard to kind of do it all for the long term. So I always urge clients to do mini campaigns of like 2 to 3 months, depending on what they're trying to get visibility for. It doesn't have to be a full year campaign. That way it prevents the burnout from you doing this like month after month after month. I would just suggest doing micro campaigns to, push certain efforts or certain projects.
I did 6 months and I mean, she was great. Shout out Claudia. She was so great, but I got tired. Like, I got so exhausted towards the end of being in media, being responsive and all of that. I mean, and even right now, thankfully, even without a PR, I still get constant media requests that comes to me. But now I can pick and choose, so I don't necessarily have to burn out. But I did feel like it was important to share that there is a real thing where you want the exposure, but you can very easily burn out. I just I never really thought about doing it in pockets because I was on a 6-month retainer. So now it's more important. Okay, 3-month chunks or a month chunk, and then skip a month and then do a month, or however it might work best whenever, once I decide to go back to that. But burnout's a real thing. I have to go float in the chamber.
It's a lot of energy to engage and do interviews and talk to people. Like, it looks glamorous, but it definitely takes a lot of energy. So I think, like you said, spreading it out or doing small campaigns will probably prevent that burnout for sure.
Right.
Oh, definitely. And then I was also a media journalist. So I was doing media for, different events and for people. And then I'm over here doing stuff for myself. And between the two, I'm guessing maybe between the two, it was just a lot. Wow. And I mean, and you're constantly on the go and constantly on the go yourself. That's why I love that you are making time for yourself. And I don't have, biological children. I don't have children in my home. Diana doesn't either. So we just learned some different lessons from you about having more of a balance, finding more time for us. How do you handle the grace part?
The grace,
like giving yourself grace when you know you need to do something, but you just don't feel like it, so you don't. So how do you handle giving yourself grace for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like I give myself probably too much grace. To be honest,
never have too much grace.
I pull some of the grace back. The reason I became an entrepreneur was so that I can enjoy the work that I do and enjoy my life and not feel constrained, in corporate, or feel a sense of constraint. And so because of that, I do give myself a lot of freedom, and I just curate my business in a way that really works well for free-spirited nature, if you will. You know, I made it so that things are not like very stressful to me or very piled on me or any of that. I like spread things out. You know, I schedule things at a time where I know that I'm going to be, you know, alive and well and awake. You know, I'm not doing early things. I'm not a morning person. I am not a morning person. So I'm not scheduling 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. anything, you know? So I just create a calendar and a life and a business that works well with my free-spirited nature, so that, you know, if I don't feel like doing something, you know, and here's the thing, you know, fortunately for me, I'm not a medical doctor. So if I cancel an appointment or I cancel an interview or I cancel anything, nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to die. That's my way of giving myself grace. Like, it's okay if you feel tired and you have to cancel something. Nobody's going to die. You'll be all right. They'll be all right too.
All right.
Noted. That would be something that probably going to be one of my biggest takeaways, because I found a way to balance out. But then when I realized that I'm overdoing something, and I'm like, I know I need to reel back, but how do I reel back without feeling some level of pressure on myself? Nobody else is putting it there. So now I think I'm going to definitely follow that and just say, well, nobody's going to die if it doesn't happen. That makes me feel really good about being able to cancel things that I know would be a stretch and would take far more effort from me, mental capacity wise, and, you know, for what? Right. So now I'm gonna have to live with that one now, and put that in my toolkit of self-care.
I think that's good. Because I might not be able to cancel patients, but what I can do is I don't have to judge the debate competition this weekend, and I'm finding a good excuse to say, Miss Brown, I'm sorry, I can't judge the debate competition. Exactly. Nobody's gonna die.
No, they won't. You know, I used to have this perfect Patty nature when I first started in business, where I did not want to disappoint anyone, and I always wanted to show up in a perfect way for everybody. But there's no grace in that. There's no humanity in that. And over time, it's unsustainable. Like, I want to be healthy and happy more than I want to please Dr. G or please Dr. Julie or please Diana. I want to be healthy and happy. I remember Cat Williams said, you are your star player. So you know, really prioritize ourselves beyond a husband, beyond the kids, beyond the clients, beyond and so whatever that means, you know, we have to really hone in on ourselves as our star player and give ourselves that grace, like you know, we're talking about.
Let me tell you something. Yesterday, it's so funny that we're touching on this topic, because I've been needing to do yard work. Like, I love planting my flowers, and I just love being in my garden. So, y'all, my backyard and my doggone front it's been to the point where it's been stressing me. So yes, I kept saying, you know, how am I going to fit it in? I have, you know, all these different things coming up. You know, I'm actively planning. Yesterday, I pushed away from my desk. I said, you know what? I'm going to plant my flowers, my daffodils today, and I'm gonna clean my yard up and get it ready for spring, because that brings me peace and happiness. Like, it really does make me happy. That's one of the things. Oh, that's a fun fact about me. I love doing gardening work. Like, I just love it. So I did it, and I felt so much better. I was getting all these emails. I was like, Lord have mercy. And I have to tell myself that with certain emails, Diana, you don't have to respond right away every time somebody sends you an email or every time your phone rings, or it's grace. And I'm going to do better. I mean, I did good yesterday, but, you know, I'm going to work to keep that going, you know, keep it going.
Well, Lillie Mae, we thank you so much for dropping in, hanging out with us. I will say that, you know, I love that we got to kick off our Women's History Month with you, because you are indeed not only creating, you know, history for women, you're creating history for Black women. You are creating history for children that's going to come up, and just through your legacy that you are living right now. So we definitely appreciate every single thing that you're doing and wish you so much more continued success. I'll be in touch, because I definitely want to see how I can support you in all of the things that you're doing. Lord knows my own schedule, but I'm always about supporting, you know, Black women, because we all need each other for growth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. And have a great month. Have a great rest of the week.
Yes.
And much continued success.
Thank you. Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye. Oh, I feel good now, y'all.
Good.
I feel good. I feel motivated. I feel like pushing stuff off. I am making some definitive decisions that I feel like I've been hanging on to. It's saying like, okay, let me see how I can make this work with all the other stuff that's now, that's been compiled on my plate. So I'm actually feeling really, really good. Yeah.
Good.
What about you, Diana? Because I know you just been all over the place. How was hearing?
I'm all over the place now.
Well, no,
all over the place.
Not like that. Not like that. In terms of not giving yourself enough grace and pulling yourself back. That's you do.
Well, listen.
That you do.
I know, but now it's crunch time. Of course, for me, I have 3 events. Pretty kind of like back to back to back, which I'm happy about. But now I feel like I gave myself some grace yesterday. I had to take grace today because I didn't feel good. And bless you.
God bless you.
But it's coming along. It is coming along. I'm going to be more deliberate and intentional about spacing my time out for myself, because it's me. It's not so much as the demands of what I'm doing. It's really me. Like I'm very hard on myself. I am. Like, I'm a workaholic. Hi, my name's Diana Richardson Philippus, and I'm a workaholic. I really am. Like, I'm a workaholic, and I need to do better with that. I do. I need to learn how to not work. And, I did this weekend. I went to Florida with the mister for our anniversary.
Oh, where in Florida?
We went to Destin, and I didn't work. Well, wait a minute. No, I didn't work. I sent emails on the way home.
Okay.
I was so proud of myself. Like, if I was drinking and having fun and eating and going to the beach, and we slept good, and yeah. Life
and
was
you
good.
won't believe where she stayed at, Cortina.
I wasn't even going to say that. Now, why you got to go there? I wasn't even going to say that.
We're not going to say that. We're not going to say where, because that's where I'm getting married. But yes, there.
The mister planned it. I had no idea.
He didn't even know.
He didn't know.
He did
We
not
were
know.
on the beach Saturday, and I was like, Pam's getting married here. I was like, what hotel? I said, wait a minute. I said, I'm about to text Pam. He was like, go ahead and text her. I was like, Pam, are you? And she was like, yes, are you there? I was like, beautiful. We gonna tear that hotel up. Oh, wait, let me stop. Okay, we're gonna tear it up. Girl, we about to get it in that hotel. We about to get it in.
Oh my goodness.
Let me stop. But it is really beautiful. It is really, really, really beautiful, y'all. It's beautiful.
And I'm hoping the weather is the same. That is what you got to experience, because she said she was in her swimsuit.
Yeah, we got in the water and everything. It was cold in the water, but we still got out there.
Because Florida's flaky.
Yeah, it can be flaky.
Florida is very different from Central Florida, very different from South Florida. So
yep.
Like 4 states in one.
I know. I told him the last time we went to Destin, it was March and I was cold. We had on jackets. I had on a scarf and everything. But this time, like, I had even brought like long sleeve. I just knew I was getting ready to be cold. I got there like, okay, it feels a little humid. All right. By that next day, I was like, oh, it's hot. We hot. I went straight up and put on my bathing suit.
And that's the opposite for Cortina, who was in Vegas and was freezing.
Child, good night.
Crazy.
Ridiculous.
Listen, though. No, go ahead, babe.
No, you're fine.
I was about to switch topics.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, real quick, Cortina.
Yeah.
So they told you that you couldn't get the corner suite, right?
Yes.
So I just sent an email. They probably going to email me back. Did you book a room at all?
So what the confirmation number, I tried to switch it and he told me that I said, well, can I put my credit card on now or whatever? And then he said, oh, you have to wait until Monday to talk to the booking place because it's past some.
It's past what? They going to make me, never mind, we on air.
So he said, oh, call the hotel directly. I said, I did. That's the same number you just gave me. He said, well, that's through the block. I don't know, some guy. That's through the block department, and I can't make any changes or anything. I said, well,
okay, I see what he's saying within that respect, because it is a different. So I'm letting you know that I sent an email.
Okay.
To the director that I've been, and we are online. I shouldn't be talking all this online, but I sent an email, and I'll follow up with you because they're gonna stop playing with. They already know. They hate to see my emails coming like, oh God.
Okay. So ladies, Cortina, can you tell everybody where they can find you at?
Therapist on all social media platforms, and Sext, SEXD, Unveiled, and the Noir, NOIR Center.
All right. And Diana, where can everybody find you at?
Yes, you can find me at Diana Richardson Philippus, and that is PHILLIPUS on Instagram, at EWE Inspires on Facebook, and also on Instagram at Bronze Glow Beauty for my organic cosmetic and skincare line.
Yeah, my sister was just talking to me about how much she loves it. So I think I'm gonna have to buy my oldest sister some now. You can find me on all social media platforms at IAMDRPGURLEY. I am Dr. P. Gurley. You can also follow my Kids Red Carpet at BGBB Kids Red Carpet and Brown Girl Brown Boy series on all social media. If you would like to be on the show, you could just go to herspirationhh.as.me. and just fill out the form, and everything is right there, self-explanatory for you. You will get instructions on the podcast and everything. Ladies, it has been such a great show. Learned so much, and I'm so glad we got to kick off Women's History Month this way.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this month now, for real, because there's going to be some changes I'm getting ready to make and not feel bad about, because nobody's going to die.
All right. What change you getting ready to make, Pam? What change you getting ready to make? I hope it ain't got nothing to do with the 18th.
Bye. Okay. Cheers, y'all. You know how we say it at the end of every podcast. You know what? Yes. Cheers. Have a great week. We will see you next week, Wednesday. And we actually have Dr. Erin on next week, who specializes in skin. I'm going to be happy to have her on. Women's History Month is in full effect. See you next Wednesday.
This is Herspiration.